Hello again, everyone. I'm going to do a little preview in a moment of the events that coming up this coming weekend. That's the 22nd, 23rd of January, which I'll be going to, or hope to be going to, subject to all restrictions and events going ahead and me being healthy, etc. And that's the Kent Schools Cross Country Championships on Saturday and the London Indoor Games on Sunday. But thanks to everyone who responded last week. I had quite a lot of feedback actually after the preview for the Sevenoaks School Knoll Run. About 90 comments as I posted the link on my Facebook page, and it was reassuring to hear from loads of mainly old boys who had done that race in the past. It brought back fond memories, and in fact highlighted a few things that I didn't know. I didn't know, for example, that 3:32 1500 metre runner Tony Whiteman ran the Knoll Run back in the late 80s, although we couldn't find a record of where he finished, but he didn't feel that he'd finished that high up. And it also opened up a bit of debate about some of the top runners in Kent in history. Tony's clearly one of them, having run 3:32 for 1500 metres. But there's also, he went to Maidstone Grammar School, which is a school I mentioned, where also Frank Sando went, who won Commonwealth Games medals in 1954 over 6 miles and 3 miles as it was then. He also won the precursor to the World Cross Country Championships, when he won them in 1955 and 1957. I think it was called the International or something like that. Not swamped with lots of top quality Africans as it is today, still clearly quite an achievement. And he ran for Maidstone Harriers before it became, I think, Reed Paper Mills Club. So quite a lot of debate came out of that, which is good. The day itself was really nice on Saturday, a bit fresh, but the sun came out. The only disappointment, I think, to a lot of competitors was the numbers were down significantly. There was 123 finishers in the boys' race and 61 in the girls, compared to 10 years ago, 323 and 242, I think it was. So a big drop off, maybe because of COVID, but also I don't think the race was as significantly advertised as it has been in the past. But hopefully there'll be a resurgence to that in future years, because it was a really good event, well organised. Just the total numbers of teams were down. The winners were Olivia Martin from Magdalen College, who actually runs for Abingdon Athletic Club, and was 7th in the last English Schools Cross Country Championships, and Will Darcy, who's from Abingdon School, but runs for Radley AC, won the boys' race. And I believe Judd School won the boys, who are local school to me, in fact my old school in Tunbridge, and Highgate won the girls' race. So that wraps up the Knoll Run. As I say, thanks for all the feedback we got, and I'm just going to quickly preview the Kent Schools Championships. And some of you might switch off because you're nothing to do with Kent, but actually it might have some bearing on quite a few of you, because it's been held at the same venue as this year's English Schools Cross Country Championships have been held, at the Hop Farm at Paddock Wood. It's a restaurant and an events area. I can remember running a cross country there back in late 80s or early 90s. I don't think there's too many hills. I think it can get a bit boggy because there's a bit of a few waterways around. Should be a good spectator course. I've posted the timetable and the laps up, the course maps up on our website, tacdistancerunners.com. It's also on the Kent Schools Facebook page. I think the first race is at 10:45. There'll be races for both Year 7 boys and girls. There'll be the junior age groups for years 8 and 9, the inters for school years 10 and 11, and the seniors for what we call the sixth form, which are years 12 and 13. And what's interesting about schools cross country at the moment is the fact that the age groups differ by a year, typically from the club age group. So, for example, you'll see a mix of under 17 and under 20s in the senior race. So on the boys' side, the top three are entered from the Kent Championships a couple of weeks ago. That's Jack Small, Matthew Taylor, and Louis Small. And they'll be up against the under 17 winner, Jamie Kerr, amongst others. So that's good. And on the girls' side, I can see the under 17 top two from the Kent Championships, Hannah Clark and Amy Jane Goodhand, is it? Yeah. Have been entered. And so they'll be contesting the front of the race. And in fact, even made more intriguing is the fact that they combine the inters and senior girls into one race. So you'll see everybody from year 10 at school to year 13, which can be good, can be bad. I'm not sure how the older ones feel about being up against the younger ones. But it makes life a bit more interesting when you've got different people up against each other than you do in the club scene at the moment. It also gets complicated by the fact that quite a few might have gone to school outside Kent, so who did the Kent Championships won't be competing and vice versa. So we shall see, but that's on Saturday. No dogs allowed, unfortunately. Can't take your dog along to watch. First race 10:45. The top three at this event will be given automatic selection for the English Schools Championships in March for the Kent teams of 8. There's no year 7 Kent team. There's juniors, inters and seniors, boys and girls. They take 8 from each. The top 3 will get automatic selection, and then the top 3 from an inter-counties schools event at the beginning of February will also get automatic selection, making 6 people getting the selection, and then 2 will be at the discretion of the selectors. So yeah, I mean, fond memories of the Kent schools. I had some strange results. I'd never ran in the English schools cross-country championships myself. I always seemed to run well when I was bottom of the age group. And so invariably, whether I was bottom or top, I'd finish about 12th, 13th, something like that. Never got in the top 8. So never contested in English schools cross-country, although I went to three track championships, I think, in my time. But there's fond memories. I'm sure plenty of people watching will have similarly fond memories of either their Kent or other county schools championships, plus trips to the English schools. Something that many of the youngsters today will never have seen. And this is what, for some reason, I've kept it. Don't tell the wife, but it's in my box of memorabilia. We used to try and get what was called a Kent flash for representing Kent. And this is my old tracksuit. You can see it there. You wouldn't wear these colours today necessarily, but I've still got it. And that must be, 40 years old? 40 years old. There is a hole in it. I don't think it fits, but I've still got it. In fact, some people, what they used to do, that was coveted, that Kent flash, as we called it, for representing Kent. But some people found a sneaky way in. They used to go and enter the Kent Schools race walking championships. Similarly, you would earn your Kent flash, but it was probably an easier path or a less competitive path than doing the running or the track championships. I'd also like to mention this coming weekend, got the first indoor championships I'm likely to go to this season. The London Indoor Games at Lee Valley. Similar to other events, it's quite difficult to find out a lot about what's happening, what's going on at the moment. But I found the list of entrants on Open Track, and there was 874 entries at the time I looked. And scanning through, it wasn't easy actually to sort by event or anything, but I was just looking for 800 metre entries, and it looks like we could have quite a classy, if they turn up, women's 800 metres A race there, so I'll look out for that. Different events on the Saturday to the Sunday, but the London Indoor Games, big event for under 20s and seniors, will be going on at Lee Valley this weekend. Plus, of course, many of other events around the country. But that's what I'm up to. And hopefully it might stimulate a bit of interest and a bit of feedback from some of you guys. Best wishes to everyone racing and supporting.